Now, let me ask you, talking of politics, now you've reared the ugly head of politics, some pretty damning stuff in the papers today about your party, suggesting that if things continue down the way they're going, you may end up with only 150 seats in Parliament. You, as a great grandee of the Labour Party, you've got to be pretty dismayed about what's going on, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's these people piddling on the side. I think it was the Fabians, wasn't it? Fabians have always felt they wanted a progressive alliance. The Liberals are calling for a progressive alliance. Was that the progressive alliance with the Tories? My God, that wasn't certainly progressive, was it? Labour has got to speak to the people. There's another story today where it says about what YouGov is saying, what these pollsters are saying, what these various groups. I get fed up with them. They're a select group of people. They've got every election wrong in the last 12 months, now telling us what we've got to do. Can they come north and talk to ordinary people instead of getting into focus groups? I used to be in shadow cabinets where they used to keep coming up with focus groups all the time. I'll tell you what focus groups do. They use them as an excuse to put their own view into leaders. And the leaders sit down and listen to them. They're new priests of politics, but they've got it wrong. Can we just talk to ordinary people of what they think? That's what Brexit was about, wasn't it? Ordinary people say, we don't agree with you.
Well, I think Britex, did you say? Anyway, let me just ask you this.
I know, I always say that. My son keeps saying, no, you've got that wrong, Dad. But I do get the words wrong. I've made a habit of it over the years.
We know what you mean.
It took me a long time to develop it.
Here's the point I would make to you, Lord Prescott, is this. It's not just people, you know, that you just named who've been doing this. You've got lots of very serious senior members of the Labour government who, of course, won 3 consecutive elections and were very electable, all saying the problem with the Corbyn regime, for want of a better phrase, is that he's simply unelectable. And the polls, whether you believe all the polls or not, the constant theme is they are at the lowest of a Labour opposition since the early 80s. Again, I ask you, is this not a concern? And what does Jeremy Corbyn need to do in 2017 to try and make himself and the party more electable?
Well, of course it's a concern. If a PLP, almost 2/3 of it, says, look, we don't agree, that is something you've got to be concerned about. But they've got to be concerned about it as well, because the party has now elected twice overwhelmingly to be our leader. Jeremy is the man who's chosen. I wish we could get out and find... I had a by-election recently and I went there. There were only 8 MPs turned up. We've got to get behind the leader, put our policies before them. By God, I couldn't think of a better time on hospitals, on schools, on education, to put the case against the present government. So let's stop moaning, stop whining and start campaigning. And the MPs and the party have got to do that.
You got to say,
Trump wasn't electable, didn't they? And look where he ended up.
Yeah, there's my wife adding the point. She said Trump wasn't electable.
And look where he ended up.
And he's now the president. And this man will be the Prime Minister, but get behind him.
Well, some of us predicted he was electable, of course, but that's another matter. But Lady Prescott, looking at the way you look at your...
you were on your own. You were on your own, Piers, weren't you? You were on your own.
Pretty much, Lord Prescott.
I think they called him, didn't they?
I was simply going to refer to the way that your wife looks at you, Lord Prescott, is very reminiscent of the way that Susanna looks at me on this show.
It's like that.
No, you're not saying they know their place, are you, Piers?
I think he's saying we know best. Lovely to see you both
God,
this morning.
I'll be in trouble with the sisters.
I'm going to come up to Hull. I'm going to come to Hull and have some fish and chips. It's lovely to talk to you both.
You're invited, absolutely.
Oh, there we go. You heard it here.
You've got to love Lord Prescott.
Absolutely. And Lady Prescott, my goodness, I feel like a kindred spirit.